Hello world and welcome to Bipey Fox. This is the first take of a new podcast with my mate James and his dad John. So I'll pass you over to James to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here.
Is the microphone on this time?
Don't say that. Yeah, it is, please.
Right, we're just doing a spot of fishing on Coniston. We can't disclose the location because we're fishermen. We don't like giving it away. So,
Well, there's no one else here, is there?
No, not really. No, not yet. Anyway.
No.
So, yeah, there we go.
I mean, you can hear it.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Very tranquil.
Very tranquil. So, do you want to introduce your dad?
Yep. My dad's John Tyson, a fellow fisherman and a good father.
62 years young.
62 years young. You wanted to add that? 62
years young. Hello, John. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. Yeah, enjoying life.
Good.
Lovely lovely morning here on Coniston.
It couldn't be any better, I don't think.
No, conditions are superb. Yeah.
I mean, for the record, it's 26 degrees.
Yeah.
Not a cloud, literally not a cloud. There's one cloud in the sky over there. Sun's right on us.
Yeah.
Oh, we've also. Do you want to introduce the dog?
This is my grand dog. Gilfy.
Hello, Gilfy.
Best dog in the world.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say my dog was the best dog in the world, but he's not with us anymore, so I would agree he is the best dog. Yeah, he was. But he's the best dog that I know that's living, 100%. So, yeah, not a cloud in the sky. Sun's literally right on our heads. I've been in the water and it's good temperature.
Feels like midday, doesn't it? But it's not.
So what's your take, Sam, on the lakes, on Coniston in particular?
Well, as I said to James before, I was excited to come fishing because I haven't been fishing before. I haven't been static fishing, yeah. And it over exceeded my expectations. I mean, you'll see. Essentially, with this podcast, I put the picture. I normally take a photo as I'm doing the podcast, and this will be the photo. So, people who are listening would have already seen this anyway.
Get a better photo, really, I'd say, wouldn't you?
No.
For scenery.
I mean, we've already taken some unbelievable shots here.
Yeah.
We're
just lucky this is on our doorstep, really, but
unbelievable.
Just take it for granted, really.
But it's 20 minutes from you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
20-minute drive, and then John, how far is it from you?
Less. About 15, 20. Yeah, about 5 minutes less.
So we've not spoken about this ever before, have we, John? Because this is the first time we've ever taken this podcast, isn't it?
That's it.
What?
Please.
Please. Can you tell me a bit about fishing and what it is for you?
Fishing, it's something I've only recently got back into, courtesy of my son. Really enjoying it, but I think it's more the crack and the bonding. I think as much as the fishing. Obviously, it's great to catch something, but it's not the end of the world if you don't.
Yeah.
It's about the bonding.
And what about you, Jamesy?
I'm just in it for the fish. I don't mind the bonding as well, but that's just a bonus.
Hey, hold on, Jamesy. This is all about truth and honesty. Can we say what it's really about, please?
No, it's about the bonding, spending time with my dad. It all started really with the lockdown with COVID and sports being off. Obviously, we're avid sports fans. We follow Manchester City, but this sort of took our mind off it, and it sort of took over now. Really.
What's your sport? Sorry, John. What's your sport?
Favourite sport?
Yeah.
Probably rugby, and then obviously watch a bit of football as well.
What does sport mean for you?
Yeah, it's like a life, innit? Really. Which sport?
Well,
I've obviously played rugby and football, but
what does rugby do for you in life?
It's just like a mental stimulation, isn't it? Really, gets you out running, and then the social side of it's brilliant. Just takes your mind off things, doesn't it?
So how have you found not being able to play rugby?
Well, it's been all right, to be honest, because we started fishing instead. But
we are fishing, please.
It's a lot less effort. There's a lot less.
He just doesn't get to beat people up anymore.
Yeah, in a nice way, of course, John, isn't it? It's a mental health podcast, John. No one was beaten up in the making of this podcast,
Nothing,
please, John. He says as he's got me in a headlock. So, when was the last time you played rugby then? I don't even know
it was
that.
over a year ago today. It's been ages ago.
Are you back?
No, not even training, no.
So because you were saying before, John, that you obviously fished when in your 20s, right?
Well, late teens, yeah, that was the last time I fished.
And then you stopped, and then James went to Australia and sort of
Recently,
got into
it. And he asked me if I wanted to come fishing. I thought, yeah, sounds good, because I still if I see people fishing, or it's a funny thing, a lot of fishermen say this, whenever they see water, they tend to look in it to see if there's fish. So that fascination's always been there, but not the active fishing. But when I got back into it, it was great, absolutely great. I mean, it is one of the perfect ways of relaxing is fishing, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I found that.
And if you can take in a scenery like this while you're sat here, it's all a bonus.
Can you? So I did say this before about your knowledge of fishing, and you said it was quite short-lived. But what kind of fish do you?
Well, I used to in my early days. It was just typical teenage fishing. You just went with a rod and a float and a few maggots, worms, whatever. Simple fishing, what I would call simple fishing. I mean, I grew up being a sea fisherman, really. So obviously being on the coast, or being where we are on the coast, the majority of my fishing was sea fishing. So, but I always wanted to. I mean, we're pike fishing at the moment. That's something I always wanted to do, but I never thought I would.
Nice.
Until 18 months, 2 years ago. So it's great. Yeah, it's really good.
Sea fishing. What kind of thing would you aim to catch there?
Basically, when you fish in a sea, it's a big old larder. You could catch anything, but I mean, predominantly you would catch what we call the flatfish. The plaice, the flounders, that type of thing. Because it's very sandy beaches.
And whereabouts was the coast that you grew up on?
It's here, around the Cumbria area, South Cumbria, so around the Barrow area. So I mean, we've got coast on 3 sides. So Furness Peninsula, yeah. So you're surrounded by the by sea. So
nice.
Yeah, sea fishing is the ideal sport.
And that is that as a preference? Would you prefer that than lake fishing?
No, I prefer this. Much prefer this.
And that's the decision that's been made, or.
Well, obviously, it's just compare and contrast. As I say, I really only knew sea fishing and a bit of fresh water, but having started this is a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it's more. As
much for the scenery as well as anything. Yeah. But it is more peaceful. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like personally, I just love the sea and I love the water. So sitting here or sitting on a boat is fine, but I love the movement of a boat.
Yeah. Well, I'm the opposite. You see, I get a bit Moby Dick on a boat. So.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Moby Dick, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, it's Cockney rhyming slang for sick, right?
It is, yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know.
I threw that one in,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Well, he's catering to the fact that I'm obviously a Cockney, isn't it?
You'd know what it was.
Yeah. Not a Cockney for the record.
Home on Coniston.
So, have you done sea fishing?
Parts sea fishing.
In England, or
mostly fresh water, to be honest.
Which is this?
This is this, yeah.
Right. So what's your preference?
Well, fresh water, because it's the only thing I've really done.
Yeah.
I look at the scenery. You can't really beat it, can you? Really?
Well, for the record, like as you'll see in the photo, like I personally, when I look at something like this, I think you could be. I've been to a place called Interlaken in Switzerland. Could be there. Could be in New Zealand. Could be in South Africa. Could be in the Alps. Could be, anyway. I mean, essentially, where we're sat is it's a pebble beach, but it's still a beach, right?
But the weather does make a hell of a difference.
Yeah, of course.
Probably call it a shore. Yeah, shoreline.
I fished here and it's icy and snowing before,
but I'd almost like that too, because you put overalls on, you walk.
Yeah, you bring your coffee and your teas and you just sit here.
Yeah.
Your bivvy.
What's a bivvy, please, James? When
like
it's at home?
A fishing tent, should we say?
Oh, a fishing
tent. Like a shelter.
Yeah.
To put it in your terms. a bivvy.
But no, that's the thing. Like, I think you just cater to where you are, and like, even the rain. I find the rain quite therapeutic, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you're dressed and ready for it, and you're not going to get ill from it,
yeah, exactly.
Then I love the rain.
No one wants to get ill, do they?
No. That's an interesting one.
You get a strange satisfaction out of that as well, being ready for the weather.
Oh yeah.
Being dressed for the weather.
But yeah, for the record, me and James are sitting here without tops on.
Budgie smugglers.
But we won't go into that too much.
No, we won't go into that too much.
And I'm feeling decidedly
overdressed.
uncomfortable with it.
And that's why nobody's around.
I've still got me woolies on and my polo neck and
Your what? Sorry.
my balaclava.
What did you say?
Me woolies.
Woolly. Oh, I think you said something else there, John.
No.
I've been for a swim. My plan is to get John in there too.
No chance.
No chance.
Don't know
Jamesy, do you fancy a bit of a swim maybe later?
I will do later.
All right, mate.
If there's no fish.
Do you reckon our mate Joel will do it too?
He will, won't he?
Okay.
He loves
nice.
a bit of a swim, Joseph.
Well, likes a bit of attention, doesn't he? Really.
Don't say that about him.
I'm joking. I'm joking, Joe. You're probably not listening, but if you are, we love you, Joe. Please. It's absolutely beautiful. Not you, Joe. I mean, you are beautiful, but. So, is there any other? Is this kind of your spot then? Is this where you've been fishing through lockdown, John?
We've been to quite a few places, but this is where I've had quite a bit of recent success. So, you like to come and like to catch. So I say it's not the be-all and end-all, but it does make your day if you do catch.
You're not guaranteed to catch every time.
No, you get used to that. But
So success. If what's sort of like a standard amount of time that you'd go fishing, and in that time, how many fish are you sort of likely to catch?
no, it's going to get embarrassing now, isn't it?
Well, that's all right.
Why? Because your son's better than you.
Yeah, you probably go for what we call a long morning. So or an early start. The earlier the better, really. So you get about 6 hours in, something like that. But again, with pike fishing, it tends to be it's slow progress. I mean, if you get 2, you've done well, really.
Yeah.
In that 6 hour period.
Well, we did get 12 in one morning.
12.
Once,
Yeah.
Wow.
That was very early on. Yeah. That was very.
That was a secret location.
That was a secret location that we reckon hadn't been fished for many years. So.
How did you?
I mean, there is a thing about fish. Are they wise? How intelligent is a fish? Are they wise to it? I think they will be like any other animal. I think give them credit. I think if they continue being caught, I think the penny drops after a while.
Yeah.
So I think that this location where we caught the 12, I don't think it'd been fished for. I dread to think how long. And it was good sport.
How did you discover that spot?
It was just through the internet, mainly through my son there, the knowledge, and the internet.
The video world.
What YouTube?
Google Maps.
Google Maps. And so is that's in the lakes as well, yeah?
Yeah, edge of the lakes, yeah.
Nice. And we're keeping it secret, yeah?
Well, basically,
going back there.
I think it's quite funny actually, because I think we've the funny thing is that a lot of fishing it's licensed and permitted up to the hilt. But the 2 places where you can fish without a permit are Coniston and Windermere. So
there's other various spots in the lake.
There's Ullswater, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think in the whole of the lakes there's only 3, possibly 4 lakes where you can fish without a license or isn't owned by an angling club. So it's good from that point of view. But I think we were getting to a point where we thought that it's just too big an expanse of water.
You still need a rod licence, I repeat. We're not doing this illegally. I'll just repeat that.
Yeah, sorry, do that again.
Oh,
please,
no, you need an environmental licence, but you don't,
That is actually interesting. I'm genuinely interested because obviously I'm from the south, and I didn't even think of that. So what do you need to fish here, apart from your rods, obviously?
Basically, you need an environmental licence, or what used to be known as a riverboard licence, which was strange terminology these days. But it's a rod licence, so it allows you to fish anywhere. That's your basic requirement.
What, and you pay that yearly?
Yeah, you pay that. That's an annual subscription.
That's for England.
Scotland's for England. Scotland's different.
How much? Like vaguely is that a year?
30, isn't it? Something.
30 quid.
30 quid.
But
That's the basic one.
Wow.
That's your basic requation. But then, as I say,
another £10 for another rod.
Then you go to a lot of waters. I mean, it's like we both joined Windermere Anglers at the beginning of the year, and that's £120
a year.
So on top of that.
Wow.
So, but as I say, you could go there and fish. You could go there, or you could come here. Yeah. It tends to be more geared for the like the coarse anglers, catching carp and stuff, which we're not into, but.
But in terms
there
of
are pike waters, so yeah, for the Windermere anglers, you can fish at Rydal and Grasmere and those types of lakes.
In terms of like wind, I mean, as I say, you'll see from the picture without trying to be repetitious. like